Welcome to the Lore Life podcast, where we seek to navigate our days with a little less stress and ideally a lot more fulfillment. In this morning coffee short episode, we check in about life in isolation and discuss our new normal. I'm Mike Anderson.
And I'm Darlene Tonelli.
Good morning, Darlene. How's your coffee?
Good morning. It's one of the highlights of the day. I'm going to be very frank about that.
Coffee?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, I know. It sounds so cliche to say it. It's true.
Pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, when I find there are less things that are sort of the high points in the day that I'm really looking forward to. It's just a constant. I've actually gone all Mike Anderson on my coffee.
Yes.
And I am doing the grinded beans and I'm really making a ritual of it. That coffee and vitamins.
Because I noticed we were going through a ton of coffee, subscribed to one of my favorite coffee shops in Ottawa called Bridgehead. And I ordered a 5-pound bag of coffee on a monthly basis. Wow. And let's just say we won't be short of coffee beans for a very long time. I might have gone a little bit overboard.
You subscribed, so every month shows up at your house?
I did 3 months. So we're getting 15 pounds of coffee over the course of 3 months. It's great coffee. Their dark roast is delicious. I have it right now. Anyway, we should talk about why we're doing this.
Yes, let's go. You go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So we are podcast hosts, I suppose, and also consumers of podcasts. And we still, from the perspective of making this Lore Life podcast, we're still not positive about what is best in terms of, what we should be providing our listeners right now. It'd be very easy to just kind of pretend like everything's normal. We have episodes of the Big Idea season, ready to post, but it feels like it's not time for those right now for some reason. And also we don't want everything to be gloom and doom COVID talk. So what we're trying to do is create just little moments where we check in with each other about how, professionally, personally, we're doing in isolation with this new normal and see how that goes. And the episodes will be shorter, even less formal potentially than normal. And maybe that will be what you, the listener, want to listen to. Hopefully it is. And we're just going to try this and see how it goes until it becomes clear that we should be doing something else, I suppose.
I think so. I think for both of us, as we were discussing what to do with the next episodes, we both expressed a couple of key points. One point for me is that a lot of my favorite shows are not producing any content right now. And it's a source of annoyance for me because I have come to rely on talking to those people, or hearing from those people rather, every week. So that's something that we don't want to do with our podcast. And then the second thing is, I personally, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this exactly, but I find I don't want to read certain things every day. So some days I feel like a little tiny dose of positive news or positivity or self-help. Other days I want none of it. And I do want less talk about the future of the profession than I would normally be interested in. So I don't know. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, it all, just given that there's such uncertainty at this point, it all seems, I don't want to say silly, but not necessarily as productive to be looking forward as it might have, a few months ago. So with that, we're just going to root ourselves in present day. What is going on in our lives, how we're finding our work days, how we're finding the interrelation between our personal lives and professional lives, and continue our goods and gripes and, and hopefully have a couple laughs together. So on that point, Darlene, how are you and what's happening in your life now?
Well, it's very funny because I have watched some television. I have listened to some podcasts. I have painted a vast amount of my house in the evenings just to kind of have something to do. And I have put in a couple of routines that I think are useful, but I'm by no means sort of one of these wellness gurus at this point in time. I have 2 children under the age of 5 at home, and the days are very long, I would say. but long in a different way than they were before. So there's positives in it, there's negatives in it. And I think overall, I feel depends on the day. You know, today's a good day. This week has been very good. And we've got our routines and our schedules down such that when they work, they're awesome. When they
Mhm.
don't work, it's really annoying because everything sort of centers on them being them working. And both my husband and I are aware that sometimes they're not going to work, and it can be almost hilarious how poorly they work sometimes. But yeah, I think we're getting through it sort of one day at a time. How about you?
Generally similar, 2 kids under 4. Definitely more than ever, I feel like they are my right and left arm, like literally a part of my body, which is really great mostly.
Mhm.
And we are the closest we've ever been as a family. I really enjoy that part. So that's
Yeah.
been nice. On the professional side, it's just the struggle has been balancing um, the time, basically finding time to do the work, and um, in light of the fact that we have to watch our kids at home and balance my wife's career and my career. So that's, we have a format that we follow. Generally, it works really well. And so, but again, we have to laugh at the times it doesn't, because what else are you going to do? I think this is something that everyone's experienced is like, I so appreciate and will appreciate the little things in life more after all this. Like, even getting out for a run is a fantastic treat. Like, it's just
Right.
such a great treat. And paying mind to this, I think what it is, do you remember like a long time ago, we did a, episode on high performance. And one of the things that was recommended is oscillating tasks. And it's one way to keep your brain happy and high functioning by going not constantly. And it's not about multitasking, but it is about completing a task and then doing a task that is different, that will satisfy a different, part of yourself or your brain. Um, I think we're all missing oscillation right now. And I'm going to try to say this: there is no oscillation in isolation.
Wow.
Thank you. I did it.
Very good.
Because our days, it's the Groundhog Day approach. That is one of the biggest struggles, I think. Everything flows the same day did the day before, more or less. Same tasks, same places, same people, um, you know, same stressors, same pleasures. And I think that's one of the tougher things is, and no matter what your situation is at the home that you're isolating in, it's just the same all the time. There is no relation with people outside of video calls, and I guess it's just the lack of oscillation of tasks and places and people that is, I say, maybe it's getting to me a little bit.
Well, it's funny. I think everyone processes this pandemic scheduling differently. I have been finding that, I mean, as you know quite a bit about what my days usually look like. And I am often having those sorts of all over the place days, a little outside the office, back in the office, meeting new people, dealing with the business element of the law stuff that we do. I have a lot of variety in the tasks as far as they're not all doing legal work. However, I have been finding in this pandemic time just a little bit of an appreciation for that simplicity. I kind of have appreciated having less choice. Right? It's like, what should I do today? Well, it's a pretty simple answer. I can watch the kids and I can do stuff that can be done on my computer. And that's it. Plus, go for a walk. And I have found it to be over time, like at the beginning, I found that very stressful because it wasn't even as recently as probably last week. I was still kind of processing this, but I was finding it really stifling to not have that outlet. And then this week, I find that I'm getting a bit of calm from it. I'm almost getting energized by the simplicity. And I'm taking this moment to kind of like relax in the downtime, to just be like, okay, nothing else I can do. I might just sit on the couch and watch Schitt's Creek that Mike told me to watch last September, which I
Uh,
actually did do last night, and it is very funny.
oh, it's great.
Very funny. I'm only on season one, but
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's good, but the seasons that follow are even better. Yeah.
it's a great show. And as you know, I find taking downtime very difficult. And I think part of the reason for that is that there's always something I could be doing that isn't downtime. And what are we, 6 weeks into this? 6 weeks into this, I am not painting the house late at night every night. I'm doing
Good for
things
you.
like watching TV for a bit. And I don't know, to me, it's like this strange, slow unplugging from frenetic activity.
Okay. But overall, sounds like you're doing fairly well. You're enjoying the simplicity.
Yeah, I don't want to like sugarcoat it too much. I mean, as you know, I'm always glass half full, in my outlook, or most of the time. There are certainly times, I'll tell you, the triggers that I find very unpeaceful, um, unchill. Sometimes there's just this anxiety, like no source. I find, and I'll just be sitting there. I'm like, I'm really anxious, and that is quite unusual for me. Normally, it's like, oh yeah, I know what that's about. It's triggered by this, and right now, it's just there sometimes. And I think that the kindness that I'm trying to do for myself is when that happens, don't power through it. Like take a minute and deal with it, or stop doing what I'm doing and do something different and change the channel. And that has been just, I don't know, I'm just trying to take the approach of when the annoyance comes. The other thing, that's just basic anxiety. Then I get really annoyed sometimes by things that wouldn't normally annoy me. And like I went to Costco early in the pandemic, and I saw just like massive carts of groceries going out of there, and for whatever reason it just really bugged me, and I try to deal with that, you know let it be, let myself be bothered but not complain about it to other people, and then recognize that everyone's going to have stuff that triggers them in this whole thing, and deal with it. Do you have things like that that are coming up?
I had a very sour day last week. It was like, I think
So
Thursday. So sour. I had no energy. It was just the end of the day. I was completely drained, and getting the kids to bed and then nothing. And my wife, poor soul, was trying to engage me in conversation or do anything, and I was like a shell of myself. So yeah, I was more short tempered than normal. All those sort of things. I was just super sour. My neighbor said the same thing last week. He had a specifically hard time as well.
I think that's okay. I think it would be weird if you didn't have a sour day. Like, I think I want to be, I want to point out that even when you're trying your best to like put good stuff in and live on the more positive side of things, I also think that part of this is about just feeling feelings like Sarah Robertson talked about on our podcast, just feeling how you feel and just acknowledging that it's what you feel and not necessarily reality.
And
Right.
I'm not one to do this, but I was like, no, I deserve this sour day. I'm not going to be upset at myself for being sour. I'm just going to be it. It's fine. Like tomorrow, I will
Totally.
wake up and it will be better. And it was. I was listening to Whitney Cummings. She's a comedian. Her podcast called "Good for You," and she was saying that.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's she's trying to do something that's like actually good for people and also whatever.
Right.
Um, but she was saying that this is a time, because of the uniqueness of the situation, you do learn some stuff about yourself.
Mhm.
And I think that's happening for me, definitely on like how I really value working and collaborating and being physically with people. I'm really, really starting to see that that's like something I really enjoy, and the absence of it, I'm feeling. Um, yeah, so I whatever. I mean, generally, I think for on my side, it's okay, it's fine. People are going through way worse, and I mean, I think that I can sustain. I just need to watch my energy levels and try to find a solve for that.
Oh, man. In this time with the kids home all day and work balancing and stuff, I might do the same number of hours of work in the day somehow that I used to do, but I'm infinitely more tired by 8 o'clock. Like really tired, but not tired enough to go to bed. It's a weird thing. It's like a active tired, but like my brain's too
Mhm.
tired to do difficult
Yes.
work.
I do want like an expert to tell me about how hard my brain is working while I'm simultaneously watching that my son doesn't fall off the bed that we're sitting on and negotiating with my daughter about when like what we're gonna have for lunch. Like that is the drain, the new kind of drain on my brain that I think is really having an impact, because it's fresh, and maybe I just need to build those muscles more. But that is like I think what's causing me by 6 o'clock just to be like, oh, like I'll work on it tomorrow. Yeah.
No, that's really, and the type of work we do, it's yes, you can work remotely, but you do need to have your faculties about you when you're doing
Yes.
it, obviously.
Yes.
Just deciding that I'm one person, I can only do what I can do. And that's what's going to get done. And just go to sleep and get up the next day and do it again. And I do think much has been said in the media about the challenges for parents. I think there are also challenges if you're not a parent. The challenge that I'm experiencing is that of being a very, a privileged parent with two parents at home, switching off with kids. Overall, I try to focus on the positive as much as I can and ask them to talk just one at a time. But anyway,
At any rate, my coffee is getting low, and so that means that this is almost done.
okay.
So let's take a break, and we'll get back with our goods and gripes. The Lawyer Life podcast is brought to you by Inter Alia Law. Inter Alia lawyers have big firm training, in-house experience, and a wide range of expertise in technology, media, and entertainment. Our advice is business-focused, speedy, and practical. To learn more, visit interalialaw.com. That's INTERALIA-law.com. And we are back with our goods and gripes. Goods are things we want to promote and support, and gripes are things that annoy us. Darlene.
Okay, I'm going to say a good is a piece of music that I've discovered. There is this album. So Chris Cornell, who was the lead singer of Soundgarden and Audioslave, and probably another band too that I'm forgetting, he died 3 years ago. Save sad stories for another podcast. But anyway, he has this album that I have discovered in this time called Songbook, and it's live acoustic songs. And he does some amazing covers of "I Am the Highway," which is a great Audioslave song. "Thank You" by Led Zeppelin, fantastic cover, and "Imagine" by John Lennon. And I have been getting a lot of solace from those songs, so I thought I would share them. How about you?
Cool. So I have two goods actually. The first is the Ontario Bar Association. This is selfish because I'm part of this panel, but doing a panel to enhance well-being for young lawyers. It's entitled "Fortify Your Reserves and Recharge During These Uncertain Times." It is on Wednesday, May 6th, so next week at 10 a.m. I will be speaking along with Malini Vijay Kumar from Nelligans and our friend Sarah Robertson. Sarah is everywhere, which is great.
Nice.
So the three of us will be talking about, working and getting through these uncertain times, stress reduction methods, how to focus on keeping your body and mind healthy, things like that. So that seems like a good thing. And the other thing is, so many people have probably noticed that Microsoft Word has updated their editing styles, single spaced things after periods, which I'm okay with. But it also, I'm getting reminders for Oxford commas, and I'm a big Oxford comma guy. So
Yes.
I think that that's great, and I'm really excited about that. It's a
All
great.
right.
It's not even a good. It's a great.
I have to gripe about the loss of the two spaces, but anyway, I won't go into it. As you know, it's been a big topic on our Slack channel. But yeah, I'm a two space after periods person, but I guess I have to change that,
Yeah, well,
lest
you
I be
gotta
a relic.
constantly evolve and change with the times.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Do you have a great?
Yeah, my gripe is so video conferencing. I don't want to see my face, and none of them let you get rid of you like on your screen. I don't want to see me. I just want to see everybody else. So to all my friends that run video conferencing software products that listen to this podcast, let's change that functionality. I know there's a lot of you listening, because who needs that? Or it should be optional. Let's be able to decide. That would be great. Please, thank you. Kind regard.
Right.
But anyway, might just be my own personal preference. Okay, nice. My coffee is well, there's a little bit left on the bottom, but it's definitely cold. So
Nobody wants cold coffee at the coffee chats.
that's fine.
Anyway, it
Whatever.
was nice to chat with you, and I look forward to the next one.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks. Talk soon.
That's it for this week's episode of LLP. Thanks to Inter Alia Law for presenting the podcast and to Nick Fowler for composing and performing our music. See our show notes for his website. Don't forget, we love feedback. Please comment in the review section or subscribe or like. We'd appreciate it greatly. That's it. Talk soon.